Good morning and welcome back to Mountain Beaches. It's been a hot minute since we've been with you guys. We've been up to all sorts of shenanigans and different things. We took our trailer off the mountain, went down to Arizona for a few weeks. We went to Southern California and visited our good friends Ron and Crystal, and just went to a concert with them, just had a great time. And now we're back. Got to tell you, let me tell you this story. On the way back, we had a bit of an experience, and we're going to have to give big shout out to Jazz, because I think she saved our trailer and maybe even saved our life. So let me explain. So we're driving back, and we're almost here, almost back to Idaho, North Idaho, and we were probably about 2 hours away, and maybe even not that far. And Jazz started doing a little yap, yip, yip, and there was no reason for it. So we thought, oh, she just needs to get out and go potty. So we pull around a bend. We're on a 2-lane road. We pull around a bend, and oh, there's a pullout. So I pulled off and get out of the truck. Kim's getting Jazz ready to hook her up on her leash and everything, and I hop out of the truck just to do my normal walk around the truck and the trailer every time we stopped to check on things. And I could immediately, as soon as I got out of the truck, I could immediately hear a large hissing noise. It's like, oh shoot, we've got a flat. And so I went back to the trailer, and the closer I got to the back of the trailer, we have a dual axle trailer, I could hear the hissing louder and louder. And sure enough, the rear tire was going down. It wasn't all the way flat. It was probably about halfway at that point. It's a beautiful morning, man. It's a beautiful morning here, but it's a little bit cool in the shade. So I'm coming over here back into the sun. This is going to be just a gorgeous day. I think we're going to have a high of 62. Today is Tuesday. You should see this video almost real time. You'll probably see this on Sunday. Let me turn so the glare. Okay, now back to the story. So I get out, and yes, the rear tire is on the driver's side is going down, and I got down, laid down on the ground because I couldn't see anything on the outside, and on the inside, the entire interior rim of the tire was destroyed. I'm like, what in the world happened? That was more than a flat, that's a blowout. And so I get up and I start looking for the lug nut wrench for the trailer, and not able to find that, and just went back, and I'm looking at the tire again, and I crawled underneath there, and I'm like, oh my gosh. On the driver's side, the leaf spring hanger bracket was completely broken free from the frame, and the axle had moved forward. So the rear two tires normally have a few inches of gap. It was just less than an inch. And then I looked at the side that had the flat, and that hanger bracket was still attached, but it was bent almost in a 90-degree inward turn, and just totally mangled. And I can see the reason for the flat tires, because after that axle moved, the interior of the tire was rubbing against a metal part underneath, and it just blew the tire. We always travel with our TPMS on the trailer, but for some reason that morning we made the trip back up here in a couple of days. We had spent the night in Montana at a city park. I just forgot to turn the TPMS monitor back on, and it would have alerted me to a problem, but I didn't have it on, so it wasn't going to alert me. But for some reason, Jazz, her sixth sense, knew something was going on, knew something was wrong. She didn't have to go potty. Kim took her out, wandered, around quite a while. She never went. So that wasn't it. She knew something was going on. She alerted us. There just happened to be a turnout. There wasn't another turnout for quite a ways. And the other thing that we discovered was we had good cell reception right at that point. But once we got the trailer fixed and we started driving again, 5 minutes further down the road, no cell service for quite a while. So there were so many things that took place. We knew that we were being watched over. We were blessed, because we got hold of a mechanic, and I'll tell you that story here in a minute, but he said we were lucky the entire rear axle didn't just come off. And you can only imagine what would have happened if that if that would have taken place and we lose an entire axle. Oh, wow. We were blessed, and we know it, and we're safe, and we're grateful. It just, things can happen so fast. And if it wasn't for Jazz alerting us, we would not have known. And we would have been in such a much worse situation. From a very serious auto accident to, at the very least, being caught in a spot where we can't get off the road and have no cell service. So back to the getting the trailer fixed. Because this was another bit of a miracle, I would call it. A divine gift, maybe, probably. So we called our insurance for towing. We have towing service, and they said, okay, got the information. I sent them a pin of exactly where we're at, and they said, okay, we're going to start searching for someone that can do this. And I said, well, it's a fifth wheel trailer. It's got to be somebody that can load this thing up on a flatbed, because you can't tow it. So they said, okay, we got it. We're on it. So we sat there and we waited and kept getting updates, text messages saying, yep, we're still looking, haven't found anybody yet. And so we kind of took matters into our own hands, and we started Googling and searching, and we called one place, and the guy said, no, I don't have the equipment to be able to do that. And then the guy said, but the guy in the repair shop next to me, let me give him a call. He's a friend of mine, and I think they still do mobile repairs, and they have a mobile welder. So let me give him a call and see. So 5 minutes later, I get a call back from this towing company that I had called, and he said, yeah, here's his name, here's his number. He said, give him a call, and he can help you. Probably could help you. So I'm like, oh man, that is awesome. And these guys, they were like 15 minutes down the road from where we were. Couldn't have been closer. It was in the very next town, Thompson Falls, Montana. And so I called the guy up, give him our location. He says, alrighty, we'll be out there. We're in the process of moving our shop, and my truck that has the welder on it is kind of stuck in the new warehouse. Not sure I can get it out, but we'll be out there with our other truck, and we'll see what we can do for you. And so, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes later, a truck pulls up, a guy gets out, and he's very helpful. He's going over things. He's getting the tire removed, the trailer jacked up. He's under there looking at it, and he's like, oh my gosh, you guys are lucky. But it wasn't the guy I called. It was a different guy. And then he, I kind of said, well, you're not, I don't remember the gentleman's name that I spoke with on the phone right now, but you're not Tony. He says, no, we work together, and Tony's coming, but I'm getting things started. So a little bit later, Tony shows up in a bigger truck, and what had happened is Tony told me he couldn't get the other truck out. Yeah, I realized I'm going to really need that welder. So he went and he got it. Those two worked on us for probably a couple hours, and they completely removed the rear axle. And I've got some pictures. We didn't do any video of this. I really didn't want to. But I took some pictures, so I'll share those. And they took the entire rear axle off. They had to heat up the hanger bracket on the one side that was just mangled and bent to what. And they got that all straightened out. They heated it up so they could bend it, and by doing it that way, it doesn't weaken the hanger bracket. And they got that all really nicely straightened out. They got a plate welded on the other side, and welded the hanger bracket on the other side that had detached. It was still in good condition. It just had come off. The weld broke, probably from some sort of stress. And so they got that all welded back on. He said he got it all aligned within a 1/16 of an inch, which to me was amazing. And then he said, oh, and you're going to need a spare. How far are you going? I said, we're going, a couple more hours. And he says, okay, I've got I've got a spare. It's not the exact size, but it's the right lug nut pattern, and it's close enough. I'll just let you have that. And a whole wheel and a tire, it wasn't a new one, but he said, you can just have that and bring it back to me sometime when you're done. I like, this is the kind of thing you get in small towns. This is the kind of friendship, the kind of help. It was just amazing. And so we followed him back to his shop where he got us the tire, and then he put it up underneath the trailer for us and said we were good to go. But he also said, I would recommend you do a couple other things. First of all, these hanger brackets are not made out of as thick a metal as he would recommend. And he also said what you really need on a dual axle trailer is a support piece, a metal bar that goes from one hanger bracket on one side to the other side that keeps it from torquing. When you make a turn, those rear wheels they just get torqued, and there's a lot of pressure on it. And I said, well, is that something that you could do? He said, oh yeah, absolutely. I've done this on many trailers, especially my own trailers. I do it on all my own trailers. And I said, okay, then I'm coming back and I'm having you do the work. You saved my butt. I'm giving you the work, even though you're 2 hours away. I'm not going to look for anybody else. I'm coming back, bringing my trailer back. So many little things, all the way from jazz yipping to there immediately being a pullout and it being a spot where we had cell service. It was a big, wide pullout, so we weren't even close to the road, safe for the guys to work. And we were able to get a hold of the guy 15 miles down the road that did the work for us. So blessed, so grateful. We made it back here to Eagle Ridge, and the story doesn't end there. So we got back here, and we were in the midst of mud season. And if you aren't familiar with mud season, you're lucky. Mud season up here can get pretty bad. And as you can see, we've got, gravel driveway. And the dirt road coming up our mountain was pretty sketch. But we locked it in 4-wheel low and got up here. And then our driveway down, the shared part of our driveway down at the bottom, it was just a disaster. I don't know what had happened. It got so much moisture in it, and it was just mush. And it was like 4-wheeling through a mud bog. And luckily, we got the truck and trailer all through that. And then we got up here to our property, and we wanted to back it inside because we're still, we were still getting winter temperatures. Temperatures, at night in the 20s and the highs in the 30s to 40s. And we have heat inside here. So we were backing the trailer up as we got to back it in and then come around and then back it in. Well, we hit over here. You can see where it's kind of dirt. I've kind of reworked it. And the trailer sunk down a bit, but by the time the rear axle of the truck got into that spot, it sunk down up to the axle. yeah, literally. And we were stuck. So thankfully we were able to unhook the trailer and from the truck, and with a lot of digging and throwing other gravel down into that mucky muck, we were able to slowly crawl the truck out of there. We left the trailer sitting right here in kind of a weird angle, but we left it sitting there for a few days while things dried up a bit, and then we were able to get it out. We never did put it inside. We just went straight to putting it. Let me show you. We put it down out here, which is our normal summer spot where we like to keep it. And mainly because we just love having the view that we can get. So yeah, there it is. We've had some cold nights and some cold days, but we're doing okay. Propane heater is working great. So there it sits, and that's where it's going to stay all summer. So that kind of gets you up to date on our travels and where we've been, what we've been up to, and the mishaps that we had. We got back up here. Everything was in good shape other than the mud and being in mud season. So We've been working hard. We've been back here for a few weeks now and been working hard on the electrical, and got it to the point where I had yesterday a rough-in inspection done. The inspector came out, and I got to tell you, I just love the inspectors here in North Idaho. They are just so helpful. That's their goal, is to help you be successful in doing whatever. So he came in, he looked over everything, he told me a couple of things I needed to do differently, but overall he says, you've done a great job. So we passed. And if you follow us on Facebook, you already know that because we posted that on Facebook this week. But let me show you just the two simple things that he told me I needed to change. So here we are in our kitchen area, and you'll notice we have outlets, like there and there, counter height outlets, and there's certain spacing requirements, and that's why we have two of them close here, because you have to have them a certain distance apart. Another one here, another one over here required by code on both sides of the sink. I don't know why code tells you got to have one close to the sink, but you do. It seems odd. And then this over here is for the refrigerator. And I had always thought this was a requirement to have this be a home run, meaning that's the only outlet on that one circuit. So that was a home run. Well, he came in and he told me that everything's great except that these counter height outlets are required to be split onto two different circuits. I didn't realize that, but he also said in some places they give you have to divide them up evenly. Here in North Idaho, it doesn't matter. You just have to have at least two circuits. So he said, easy thing to do, come off of your refrigerator line and bring it over to this one. So that's one circuit on that one and the rest of these on a second circuit. And he said, you just do that, and that solves that requirement. So that was a 5-minute fix. And then the other thing he told me, which I didn't realize as I was wiring up the bathroom. So we got an outlet down here, we have an outlet down here, and over here, which I haven't finished wiring up, is the outlet for that goes by the vanity. The vanity will be right here. So another countertop. Well, evidently for the countertop outlet in a vanity, it has to be on its own circuit. Well, other outlets that are vanity height in the bathroom could be on that same circuit. But if you have an outlet that is down closer to the ground, like we do down here, those can't be on the same circuit. And that didn't make sense to me. And I asked him, I said, well, what's the reasoning behind that? And he says, well, it's kind of because oftentimes the outlet by the sink is used for like a hair dryer, blow dryer. And a lot of times people are also putting in bidets in their bathroom. And if those happen to be on the same circuit, those both use a lot of power. And so that's the reason for that code. So I just have to run another home run circuit, connect to that countertop outlet, and I pass. You're good to go. You're good to start covering walls. I'm like, really? He says, yeah. It was a great experience. I was so worried about him coming in, so worried about this inspection. I've spent so much time on it, but we're getting there, and he was awesome. So today, what am I doing today? Well, I'm going to run that home run wire for that vanity outlet. The heating system, the radiant floor heating, the boiler, they've been working fantastically. It's taken me some time to get it all dialed in and make some adjustments to the settings on the boiler. And one thing I need to do today is I need to kind of clean out the ash. We've been running it for, we were gone for a while, but we've been running it for over a month, and it really doesn't produce hardly any ash. But today I need to clean out what's in there. They say to do that weekly, but I haven't needed to. So I'm going to do that. Also, we need to go into town and pick up our mail and a few errands. Start thinking about firewood season and looking at trees to cut down and get that going. So yeah, glad to be back. Glad you're here with us. Let's go take care of that, cleaning out that boiler. Okay, this is the chamber where all the ash is going to be. It's a gasification boiler, so the real heating takes place down in here, and the extra burning of the gases. The top part, the bin where the wood goes, and they give you this tool to reach back in here. And just kind of pull the ashes out. And I bought this tub. Wish they had like a rectangular one. I need to keep looking, but this will work for now. A dusty mess. If you're ever doing something like this, make sure you have a metal container. It could catch it on fire. These can still be really hot. Yeah, I'm just gonna let those ashes cool for a while before I do anything with them. They're just gonna sit there in that bucket and cool off. I think my blade's getting dull. All right, I'll get a couple of staples on here to hold the wire and we'll be good. Okay, so you want to let us know what you're doing?
I am working on insulation. This is exciting because that means the next thing is wallboard and, we're getting closer. So this is an R23, which is too wide for the studs. So.
Right, it's 2 feet across.
Yes.
And it's 5.5 inches thick, which is perfect for our 2x6 wall. But it's just too wide.
It's just too wide.
But we already have it, so we're going to use it.
Yep.
And we're going to cut it to the right size. And it's going to make a great sound barrier.
Yes, it is. Because we like our silence up here. Voila. I think it's good to cut it. I cut it just a little bit bigger than the space, but that holds it in. So, and each one of these are a little different, so I'll have to measure each one, but I think it's going to work. Jess. Hey, go get your rock. Come on. Let's get your rock. Get your rock. Good job. Yes, good girl. Good girl.
Yes. Jess, come.
Oh boy.
Okay, next on my list is I want to go out to our circle drive that we have back over here. And yeah, that's another trailer. That's not ours. That's one we're storing for our friends Ron and Crystal. But there's trees down here that make it really difficult to make the bend. And so I want to remove a couple of those. And now's a good time to do it because the ground is still wet and it'll be easier. I think with the excavator, I can just pull them out. They're small trees. And then at some point this summer, we'll add some more gravel to make that turn easier. It's just really difficult and you just run the risk of scraping your trailer, and we don't want that. I've got the Kubota warming up. It hasn't run since last winter. Well, we haven't started it since last fall, so it's been sitting here for quite a while. It started right up though. So the first tree that I want to remove is right here. This one right here on the corner. That one is just in the way. We need to make this corner a little bit, we need to gravel down in this part, make it a little bit bigger. That tree's got to go. And then on the other side of the little trailer over here, there's another one. A couple of them over in there that need to go. So we're going to start with this one though. The other thing that you're going to notice right in here, we have a little bit of a stream, a seasonal stream that comes through and runs over our driveway and down. In the wintertime, this is a sheet of ice. So what I need to do this summer is I need to dig this out, put a culvert in here, because every year we have this stream. Some years it flows more than others, but it's just seasonal. One year it went almost till the end of June before it stopped. Up in our little hammock forest up here and property behind us, there's a lot of groundwater this time of year that comes up and gravity takes it down this path. All right, there's the tree I want to take out. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, just as I thought, super easy. The ground is super wet, so that was easy as could be. And we'll just run that through the chipper when we get the chipper up and running later on this spring. On to the next one. Right over there is where I want to take out the next one. There's two of them. I'm just taking one out for now. A little rusty. Little rusty. Don't have the soft touch yet. Takes practice. Haven't run this thing in many months. Yeah, this is coming right out. Look at that. Butter. That's like butter. There we go. Root ball and all. Okay. Let's go put this with the other one. Yeah, that'll be good to have those out of the way. Everybody that pulls a trailer down into there, including me, brushes up against those, and just take care of that. Okay, now there's one more over in the same area that I want to get rid of, so let's go get that one. Okay, that's the one we're looking for. So we can make this turn wider. Should come out pretty easy though. Just like the others. Boy, I'm rusty. I am rusty. This one's going to be a little bit more stubborn. Might have to dig a little, but we'll see. Coming. It's coming. There it goes. And it's free. Roots and all. All right. So if we're going to take a tree out, I'd rather it be the ponderosa pine. They don't make great firewood either. All right, easy peasy. That takes care of that task. I gotta tell you, having the right equipment sure makes a job easier. And yeah, not everybody can afford all the equipment, but sure glad we are able to have this mini excavator and our tractor. They've been amazing. Great workhorses. All right, let's go see how Kim's doing on her project of putting the insulation in those walls for sound barrier. See where we're at. We need to head into town soon though. Wow, you got a lot done.
Well, I have questions for you. So my question is, do I need to stay away from this wall? Are you thinking of any plumbing that needs to go on that wall or any more electrical?
No.
So I can do that wall
Yep.
too. Okay, because I started over there, but I'll bring it back.
All right,
Okay.
I think it's about time to head into town.
Okay.
Alrighty, just finished up at the big box store, hardware store. Now on to 3 more stops. then back home.
Kind of exciting day today.
We are off on a big errand. It's something that Kim is really, really excited for, and I'm excited, but she's really excited.
Well, it's the first step in figuring out cabinets, and I have a pretty specific idea of what I want, but it might not be the easiest thing.
Of course not.
What's new? So we're bringing you along. We're going to go look at cabinets. Maybe we'll show you a few pictures of my vision board of what I'm envisioning our little kitchen should be like. And yeah, we'll see if we're successful. This is the first cabinet store that we are going to, but it came highly recommended. So we'll see.
So many options.
I'm a terrible decision maker. I know what I like. When I see it all put together, but it's so hard to get the cabinets and the ceiling and the floor, and do we want two colors and all the stuff.
Yeah, look at all those color options.
I know, so many, and that's not even talking about the hardware and
or the wood option, or the shaker versus.
Yep. Here's one that has a raised panel. So many options. We'll get there.
You just got to figure it all out and make it right.
Yes, and make it right. That's the hard part.
And this is what we've come up with so far.